The Irish are said to be good at parties. Noisy revels, with drinking, singing and dancing late into the night. But Mary, 17, and living on a lonely farm, has no experience of them. And as she cycles down the mountain road to her first party in the town, she is full of hopes and dreams and expectations. Mary hoped that the ancient front tire on the bicycle would not burst. Twice she had to stop to put more air in it, which was very annoying. For as long as she could remember, she had been putting air in tires, carrying firewood, cleaning out the cowshed, doing a man's work. Her father and two brothers worked for the forestry company, so she and her mother had to do everything. And there were 3 children to take care of as well. Theirs was a mountainy farm in Ireland, and life was hard. But this cold evening in early November, she was free. She rode her bicycle along the road, thinking pleasantly about the party. Although she was 17, this was her first party. The invitation had come only that morning from Mrs. Rogers, owner of the commercial hotel. At first, her mother did not wish Mary to go. There was too much to be done, soup to be made, and one of the children had earache and was likely to cry in the night. But Mary begged her mother to let her go. What use would it be? Her mother said. To her, all such excitements were bad for you, because they gave you a taste of something you couldn't have. But finally, she agreed. You can go as long as you're back in time to milk the cows in the morning, and don't do anything foolish, she said. Mary was going to stay the night in town with Mrs. Rogers. She had washed and brushed her hair, which fell in long dark waves over her shoulders. She was allowed to wear the black evening dress that an uncle had sent from America years ago. Her mother said a prayer to keep her safe, took her to the top of the farm road, warned her never to touch alcohol, and said goodbye. Mary felt happy as she rode along slowly, avoiding the holes in the road, which were covered with thin ice. It had been very cold all day. At the bottom of the hill, she got off and looked back, out of habit, at her house. It was the only one on the mountain, small and white, with a piece of land at the back, which they called the vegetable garden. She looked away. She was now free to think of John Rowland. He had appeared 2 years before, riding a motorbike daringly fast, and stopped to ask the way. He was staying at the commercial hotel and had come up to see the lake, which was famous for the way it changed colour at different times of day. When the sun went down, the water was often a strange reddish purple, like wine. Down there, she said to the stranger, pointing to the lake below. Rocky hills and tiny fields of bare earth dropped steeply towards the water. It was midsummer and very hot. The grass was tall, and there were wild flowers, blood red, close to their feet. What an unusual sight, he said, looking at the lake. She had no interest in views herself. She just looked up at the high sky and saw that a bird had stopped in the air above them. It was like a pause in her life. The bird above them, perfectly still. Then her mother came out to see who the stranger was. He introduced himself very politely as John Rowland, an English painter. She did not remember exactly how it happened, but after a while, he walked into their kitchen with them and sat down to tea. 2 long years had passed since that day, but she had never stopped hoping. Perhaps this evening she would see him. The postman had said someone special in the hotel expected her. It seemed to her that her happiness somehow lit up the greyness of the cold sky, the icy fields going blue in the night, the dark windows of the small houses she passed. Suddenly, her parents were rich and cheerful. Her little sister had no earache. The kitchen fire did not smoke. Sometimes she smiled at the thought of how she would appear to him. Taller and more womanly now, in a dress that could be worn anywhere. She forgot about the ancient tire, jumped on the bicycle, and rode on.